Bobby, weren't you saying something too about the it just so happened like right after the hearing or right around the same time they made some crazy breakthrough or announced that in the what's it called?
Talking about LK99.
Oh, I don't know. What's that?
The superconductor.
Yeah, where it's like they're able to achieve
nuclear fission.
What's it called? At like a normal temperature.
It's a superconductor that works ambient pressure at room temperature. So normally to get something to work at that capacity, it has to be super pressurized and super cold. Like most superconductors are, from what I remember, colder than space, basically just open empty space.
Because I remember that video from a few years ago where it was just a little like floating kind of circular, like this size kind of thing, and it was like a superconductor and it was super cold, like, and it would just be like levitating in air, but it was just like a really tiny version of that.
Yeah, so the reason this is like a huge deal is superconductors in general, right? One of the main byproducts and the reasons why they're so curious is that they can essentially push magnetic fields around them. Magnetic fields tend to penetrate like through objects, but this can essentially wrap itself in between magnetic fields and hold itself in position, so you can freely like move something and just have it levitate. Essentially, it looks like it's levitating.
Yeah, or I got this, or there's like this video from like a year or so ago. I can pull that up real quick.
So what they usually do is they'll dip the superconductor in liquid nitrogen or something, keep it cold, and then they'll have like a Mobius strip track or something.
It looks like the size of like a hockey puck. Here, I got it on the screen here.
Yep. So this exact sort of thing. So the breakthrough is so impressive because being able to do this at
this track
room
or whatever
temperature, like ambient pressure, is essentially how UFOs perform.
Yeah, this is crazy. This guy's building like a levitation track basically and freezes it.
Yeah. So this is our solution more or less to creating objects that can levitate in magnetic fields.
Right, because it's just magnetized against itself.
It's insane.
Right, but so the idea here is that, he has the Mobius strip, or it's not even a Mobius strip, but he has, this track of magnets laid out, and, he requires that relationship for it to actually have a magnetic field to grab onto and to be fixed within. So to scale that up to the level of a UFO, one can only assume they're using the greater magnetic field of the Earth as a permanent magnet, more or less.
Dude, that's crazy.
But
that's icy.
Our technology is not really there yet.
Not there.
And again, I don't really know if that solves the problem of inertia. But
because it seems like, or maybe it's like, yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe this type of shit would work differently or better on other planets where it's way colder, or there's a different kind of atmosphere breakup, but making that kind of technology work properly on an Earth-like environment is probably a whole other feat. Whoa, dude.
So my suspicion is that UFO technology does not necessarily rely on superconductors like this.
Right.
I mean, it's cool, and this may be how we can get something similar, but I don't know. The problem of how it breaks inertia is, once again, like it was like Fravor was saying at the hearing, it's like the material science is way, way, way beyond us.
Right. Well, and it's like maybe it was just out of our own ego and pride that we didn't want to tell people about the alien stuff that we recovered because we never figured out how it works. Like back in World War II, they probably found it, and they probably found this alien technology, and then we're like, oh shit, let's reverse engineer it like we would just with like a different country's aircraft or whatever. Be like, oh, that's cool. Their engine's like this. They do this. But they just couldn't figure it out. And they're like, well, we won't tell them until we figure it out. And they just never could. And maybe we'll, like, I don't know.
I mean, maybe
with our understanding, maybe we never will. Or maybe I don't know.
Maybe it's shockingly simple. And I find that the answer to most things tends to be the one that is created out of necessity, especially when it comes to the universe. Like, the laws of the universe only exist out of a need to facilitate something, right? So, like, eventually we'll just figure out the simple unified law, or, like, principles of the universe that finally unites quantum mechanics and general relativity
Right.
together. And I mean, then
Well-
we'll understand. But until then, probably not. So
Because I mean, I don't know shit about fuck when it comes to actual math and science, but it's
Me
you know
either.
sort of like the jump from Newtonian to Einsteinian physics or whatever. Like we might have to have another one of those jumps where we're like, okay, actually we didn't really fully understand it, and then we have to kind of just reevaluate everything that we know and like start over basically.
Yeah, I don't know. I think part of the problem is, or part of the problem has been, is that just human thinking is limited, and a lot of ideas are created not necessarily out of a need to like solve the problem, but out of a need to have an answer. You know what I
Right.
mean? So a lot of our scientific theories, just like the entire hypothesis to begin with, is skewed, or like the principle of which is not necessarily in the right avenue of thinking. I don't
Right.
know. This is my opinion, but
Because I mean, all of this stuff that we, the space race and the race to atomic energy and weapons, it's all just kind of based on like, well, we got to figure out this shit before the Chinese figure this out, or before the Germans figure that out, or before
Yeah.
Russia figures this out, and then they're gonna kick our ass with, that's kind of like the main motivating factor. And then every alien movie is like, we have to figure this out. We have to figure out how to beat the aliens because they have the best technology. It's just really just a metaphor for, World War II really is like what most of these alien invasion kind of movies are.
And I mean,
But it's like, we don't even know that aliens are trying to fight us at all. Like, they might just be like, what's up?
but they know that we are potentially trying to fight them, or we're
Yeah.
at least suspicious and conscious. So why would they help us?
Right. Or they're just like checking in on us, maybe just to be like, oh God, these guys figured out nukes. Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
that
how we
is
deal with each other,
basically.
so
Yeah.
why would we be a trustworthy species?
We wouldn't.
Can't even get along. We're like
Right.
Yeah.
we're one race, but we can't.
You see it in every
in real life,
superhero movie. Like, all right, what was it in like Superman or whatever? Like, I forget which Superman movie it was, but the U.S. government tries to essentially capture him, and it's just like, well, it's not gonna happen. It's
Yeah.
like you're lucky he comes here in peace. Like,
Yeah.
Right.
I don't know. So yeah,
Yeah.
I wouldn't give us a fucking inch, to be honest.
Okay,
Yeah.
we still got a bunch of shit to get through here.